MG, they have reduced the price of the ZS small to mid-sized electric SUV by $15,000. It's a very good deal, but would I personally get one? I mean, if I was in the market for a mid to small electric SUV, even with a massive $15,000 discount, well, I'm not so sure. But here are the details. And here's why apparently a lot of them have already sold out. But here's an alternative that I think you should actually maybe consider that could be a better choice. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. Guys, if you're new to the channel, Mark from China, well, he's actually from the UK. He lives in China. He is now working with us on the channel. So he's going to have a lot of content coming straight from China. He knows the automotive industry probably better than anyone else I know in China. If you've met anyone with a better knowledge than he has, I would have to argue that you haven't, because this guy is just unbelievable. His brain computes everything at the kind of speed that you'd be shocked by. And his understanding of the Chinese automotive industry, and therefore, as a result, the global automotive industry is incredibly valuable. That's why I've now brought him onto the team. So it's great to have Mark. And some of our videos on the channel now, probably one a day, maybe two a day, will feature Mark and feature his insights on China. Speaking of China, MG, of course, is a Chinese brand. A lot of people think it's a British brand. It's not. It's Chinese. It's owned by SAIC, which is a state-owned conglomerate, one of the largest automotive conglomerates in the world. And MG have a new model of this car coming to Australia and other markets around the world. They've got two new models. Apparently, this will be replaced within a few months' time. But there's also the MG Marvel R, which is a bit bigger than this. It's meant to be a Tesla Model Y rival, but it's not as big as the Tesla Model Y. Anyhow, about $36,500 for the long-range version of this car. It's a pretty good deal. I mean, that's Australian dollars. So Americans, that's what, about 24,000 US dollars for a small to mid-sized electric SUV. It's about the same size as the BYD Atto 3. So $36,000 doesn't sound really cheap, but it actually is when you consider the fact that it has a 72 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery. 72 kilowatt hour battery. Now, apparently its range is a surprisingly low 420 kilometers WLTP. 420 kilometers from a 72 kilowatt hour battery pack in a car this size, it doesn't add up. I mean, it's getting less range than a BYD Atto 3 with a 60 kilowatt hour battery. Basically the same battery chemistry, almost identical in both batteries. So why is it getting less range than an Atto 3 when the battery is like nearly 20% bigger? I don't know, but I'm going to guess in the real world, it's going to get its claimed range. I'm going to guess that MG have understated the range of this vehicle, and it's probably going to get more range than what MG. Very exclusive event here in Newcastle. Saturday, the 15th of March from 3 to 5 p.m. I'll be speaking here with just a couple of other speakers. Very small event. So you can meet me in person. You can actually have a look at my EV as well, the Xpeng G6. Test that out. I'll put a link in the description below to the event. I believe that the tickets will probably sell out very, very quickly. So if you're from Sydney, from Brisbane, from Newcastle, make sure you click on that link as quickly as possible to get in. I think there's only around 30 tickets left at this point in time. I'll put that link in the description and I'll see you there. You know, on average, city driving, you're definitely going to get more than 420 kilometers. But basically, you're getting an EV, right, which is decent, not amazing, it's decent. For a good price, $36,500, drive away. That includes all your taxes and fees, with a 72 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery with vehicle to load. So if you wanted to, you could power not your entire house, but your power goes out at home, you power your fridges, you power, if you want, your TVs, stuff that you're going to want to use when the power's out, right? Your lights. So in a lot of ways, this is a really good deal, but I would counter that it's not the right car to buy. Now, the reason I say this is because resale value on these MG ZSs is not great, because in a lot of ways they're a bit dated. Interior space is not particularly great for the size of the car. It's really an internal combustion engine vehicle that's been converted into an EV. And, nothing wrong with that. But I think if you're going to spend this kind of money, I would spend an extra $5,000 personally. Stretch that extra $5,000, get the Geely EX5, the base model. The base model Geely EX5 has a higher standard level specification than this car. It does have a smaller battery, but it's got more range. It's a very efficient car. It's got 11-in-1 drive, which is complex. But anyway, the simple way to look at it is it's one of the most efficient electric cars on the market. So even though it's got a 60 kilowatt hour battery, it actually will give you more range, or probably about, in the real world, similar amount of range. So for your extra 5,000, you're getting a bigger car. It's in fact significantly bigger. It's 4.6 meters long, nearly as big as a Tesla Model Y. It's in fact got bigger interior space than a Toyota RAV4. Behind the rear seats, it has about 800 liters of storage space. The RAV4 has about 1690. It's got 110 liters more storage space behind the passenger and driver seat. So it's got a huge amount of space on the inside, but it's not a big car on the outside. It's really good packaging. It's a new car with a new battery. It's got the short blade battery from Geely. That's the Aegis short blade battery. It's a lithium iron phosphate battery. But because of the way these short blade batteries are made, they can charge much faster than advertised. A little bit misleading here. So it says it's only got 100 kilowatt DC fast charging, which is true, but it can maintain that charge peak for a long period of time, meaning you actually charge this from 30 to 80% in 20 minutes, whereas some of its rivals, charging at similar speeds, take nearly 30 minutes. So the fast charging of that Geely car is much quicker than the MG ZS. In other words, if you're doing a road trip, you'll charge your battery in your Geely EX5 much, much faster. I think overall as a package, it's worth paying an extra $5,000 to get what is a significantly better car. Now, that said, I know a lot of people go, well, $15,000 discount, that's amazing. I'm going to run out and get one of those. And yeah, you know what? I get where you're coming from. If that kind of excitement drives you to get your first electric car, that's awesome. Good on you. Fantastic. And if you told me you bought one, I wouldn't criticize it. I'd say that's good. Good on you. But yeah, I do think there's some other cars on the market that even with this big discount are actually better value for money. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. The electric car price war here in Australia. Well, I shouldn't say here in Australia because I'm in California right now. But anyway, I'll be back in Australia in a couple of weeks. So the price war is just insane. And it's getting to the point of being almost a bloodbath like China, as many predicted. I know many of you predicted it. I obviously predicted it. It was obvious it was going to happen. It's obviously going to play out because, it's a battleground in Australia and there's numerous brands coming to Australia. There's so many car models coming to Australia and they're all saying the same crap. They're all saying this. It's embarrassing hearing them say it because they always do something else. Oh, we won't engage in discounting. That's ruining the market. We don't believe in that. What happens later, a few weeks later? Oh, big discount. Guys, this is great for consumers. Don't get me wrong. If you buy an EV, don't think about it as what is this car going to resell for. If you're just buying it worried about resale value,